Even in the age of vibe coding, if you talk to experienced engineers today, you'd hear something over and over. They're working hard, their calendars are full, their teams are shipping, and yet many feel less productive and less satisfied than they think they should. This paper asks a deceptively simple question. What if the problem isn't effort, but how developers are forced to spend their time? And more importantly, what does that mean for how we design teams, workflows, and what AI tools we deploy? Now, the core problem is the misalignment between ideal work versus actual work. Every developer has an intuitive sense of what a good work week looks like. More time coding, more time designing systems, more time learning, less time in meetings, fighting tools, dealing with compliance tickets, overhead, and the like. The authors call this the contrast between an ideal work week and an actual work week. Using a survey of 484 software engineers at Microsoft, the study measures both how developers actually allocate their time and how they wish they would allocate it. The gap between these two turns out to matter a lot. Now, here's what the data shows. First, the misalignment is large. In their actual work week, developers spend a significant portion of time on communication, meetings, debuggings, environment setup, security, compliance, task management, support tickets. In their ideal work week, developers want to nearly double the time spent coding, spend far more time on system design, learning new technologies, knowledge sharing, far less time on meetings, coordination, and operational overhead. Second, the gap is not just emotional, it's measurable. As the difference between a developer's ideal and actual work week grows, self-reported productivity declines, self-reported satisfaction declines even faster. Developers who felt very productive had work weeks much closer to their ideal. Those who felt dissatisfied had the largest gaps. The paper goes deeper and looks at specific activities positively associated with productivity and satisfaction versus those which are negatively associated. There's a particularly interesting group here, developers who feel highly productive but still dissatisfied. I'm sure we can all relate with that group. They spend a lot of time on things like PR reviews, monitoring dashboards, mentoring, and coordination. These tasks, I'm sure you'd identify them as being valuable, but developers don't want them to dominate their week. The paper also looks at AI tool usage. Obviously, developers who use AI tools daily report the highest levels of productivity and satisfaction. Those who use them less frequently report much less benefit. But here's the key insight. Developers don't just want AI to write more code. They most want automation in documentation, environment setup, testing, monitoring, task management, security, and compliance work. In other words, AI is most valuable when it removes friction, not when it replaces creativity. The implications here for engineering leaders is this reframes productivity. It's about closing the gap between ideal and actual work. That means investing in AI where developers actually want help. Check out the link in the description for the paper, and thank you for watching.